The Mario Rosenstock Podcast. Thanks to Hum. Finance made easy when you shop tech, electrical, appliances, kitchens and much more. Flexify Europe Limited, trading as Hum, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Coming up on this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast.
I was playing in Whelan's one night somewhere early on in my career, and whatever happened, the mic kept breaking or the PA kept breaking. So I walked out onto the tables and sang it a cappella. And that's all anybody was talking about afterwards. You're after practicing and having all the fireworks to try and amaze everybody with all the technical stuff. But it was just back to the basic singing and affecting people.
And you can almost picture Jack L walking amongst the crowd in Whelan's, wowing them with his deep, unmistakable voice and loving every minute of it. Because ever since he was a kid, all Jack wanted to do was write and perform music, and he managed to make a very long and successful career out of it, with multi-platinum selling albums and thousands of gigs under his belt at this stage. And it certainly helped that he is one of the most recognisable voices in the industry. I love his voice. It's chocolatey, it's a baritone, it's deep, it's velvety. But as well as writing and performing music, Jack also thinks a lot about it. He's fascinated by its history. I didn't know this about him. The science behind it even, and the impact that AI is having on the whole thing, and what that means for musicians and performers in general. And I'm very interested in that as well. You know how much I love talking about music at this stage, and so I was in my element during this chat.
It was all that. It was all hard work, but then we'd have, Christmas or anything at all, there'd be a session and everybody be singing, and you were made sing the old Irish tradition of making everybody do something. And that was kind of where I discovered when I'd sing, people would react and that I had a voice. Melodies are like folk memories almost. You hear one and you go, oh my God, that's like it's always been. Like the Beatles, it's like it's always been in my brain, that melody. I don't remember first hearing the Beatles. They were just always there. It was just infiltrated folk memory. There's nothing as bad as being on stage and being hungover.
No, it's terrible.
Horrible.
Because you're just getting...
And then you get into the thing of having a few drinks so you're not hungover, and then you're into that ring.
Oh, but then depression sets in. Then you've got the blues.
Yeah, but you're just kind of trying to outrun the hangover. But I think in the advent of AI and that, we're going to want more mistakes. We're going to want more things not being perfect. I think our ears are getting bored. Usually when you record something, the mistakey bits in it are the ones that are your favourite parts.
Jack is still as busy as ever on tour and has lots of new projects coming up, including emceeing on the main stage and performing at the upcoming Forest Fest in County Laois in July. And we chat about that and loads more in just a couple of minutes' time. But first, the weather was good recently. That means it must be one thing, the Leaving Cert. My son is doing his Leaving Cert at the moment, so the house is on tense alert. And what happens when the Leaving Cert ends? They all go away for a big party, don't they? So we had loads of people ringing into the Mario Rosenstock hotline telling us what happened after their Leaving Cert. Ray Darcy. How are you? Well, after my Leaving Cert, I went nuts. Totally and utterly nuts. And had a can of beer. Obviously went for a 10k run first. I'm not a total lunatic. And after that one beer, I was so hammered, I broke into the radio centre in RTE and urinated all over the reception. Oh, wait a minute. Jenny. Oh, the last part actually happened yesterday. I'm getting confused. Jenny, where's me hake? Michael Healy-Rae.
Today, I finished my Leaving Cert. I started to canvass for the next local election because once I became a councillor, I could become a TD. And once I became a TD, I could become a minister. And that was my greatest dream of all. Until you forced me to give it all up, Danny. You bastard. You and me, we're done.
Ivan Yates. Well, after the Leaving Cert, I set up a student bookies where students and colleagues could freely, of their own will, come in and place bets on who would do such and such and who would do well and so forth in the Leaving Cert. You know the thing, like Charlie McCarthy, 6-1 to pass ordinary maths. Orla O'Reilly, double carpet. That's 33-1 to get an A in her Leaving Cert. Anyway, I lost my bollocks on the whole operation. and decided to get into politics. An exclusive new comedy every week on the Mario Rosenstock podcast. And thank you to all of you who get in touch with me at mariorosenstock@gmail.com with your suggestions for new characters, sketches, or even people I might like to interview on the show. And I get back to all of you. And thank you for your recent suggestions. And we put them all on file and we investigate most of them. So I bet you're spending a lot more time out in the garden now during that lovely summer we've had. Please come back. Come on, it's only the beginning. We have got one good week out of it in July. Let's go. Let's have more of it. And looking at that old rusty barbecue that you should probably replace, or the garden shed that needs some tidying up and some a bit of a remodeling, or maybe you want to give your garden a makeover and make an amazing space to spend time on. Well, for all the things you're going to need for whatever plan you have to do, Hum has you covered. Hum is a finance company. They've been around in Ireland for 30 years. They provide flexible payment solutions for customers for some of Ireland's most popular retailers. They can help you make your purchases and pay back in bite-sized, easy payments. It couldn't be easier, and we're delighted to have Hum on board on the Mario Rosenstock podcast. Delighted that they got involved in podcasting in general and chose my podcast to partner up on. And be sure, if you want to get new episodes straight into your inbox, in association with Hum, please press the follow button on Apple or Spotify or wherever platform you're listening on. It's just a click of a button for you, but it's a big deal for us. Remember, we don't charge you for this podcast. We're not premium and we don't ask you to pay any extra. It's free to you. All I ask you is that you press the little follow button and maybe also tell one other person if and why you enjoyed the Mario Rosenstock podcast. Thanks a million. You are the most important element of this podcast. And thank you as always for listening. So, Jack L must be one of the hardest working musicians in the industry. I realised this one night when I was backstage in my dressing room in the Theatre Royal in Waterford. And so Jack and I kicked off our chat there.
So I was doing a few shows down the Theatre Royal down in Waterford. That beautiful theatre, one of the...
Oh yeah, the back wall is the old city wall. I mean, where would you get it?
One of the most stunning theatres.
Beautiful. I love circular, architectural,
that Victorian
train spot and stuff, but I love circular buildings to play in them. It just always sounds better, and just so I love that spot.
I did a few shows down there, and obviously I'm waiting around in my dressing room to go on. And I don't know if you do this, but I always look at the posters of all the people who are playing.
It's one of the treats.
Yeah, and you kind of go, "Oh, they were here, and what were they doing?" And I was looking at your poster, and what stunned me about your poster was, I had counted all the gigs I was doing during this tour, and I counted up I'd done about 24 gigs. I just looked on the wall and I was looking at Jack L. And I counted about 97 gigs.
Yeah.
And I was going, how is he doing all this? He's over to England, he's over everywhere. He's just doing gigs. And the reason I say that is because your voice is so important and so big that you have to do all these gigs. That's a massive ask.
Yeah, no, the singing every night is very taxing, obviously, and doing a gig itself, you give so much energy away, yourself from doing gigs that it's very taxing on your energy system, your chi, whatever. But the voice is a physical thing, so it does wear down the more gigs you do. But the thing is, endless water, lots of sleep, and just don't talk much. That's usually...
Well, sorry for asking you to come in here.
But
if you want me to increase talking my side, I'll do it.
Well, look, I've no gigs tonight, and I had none last night, so I'm okay.
When is your next gig?
When is my next gig? That's a good question.
Well, it's not in 2 nights' time either.
No,
obviously,
it's next week, I think.
Next week?
Yeah. I've done some really intense kind of stuff, I can do about 10 nights in a row, but I don't really do that as much anymore just because it's so physically taxing and it takes you so long to recover. It's the body shock of the whole thing.
Yeah. You're obviously a singer, but you're also a bit like a kind of a performance artist in the sense that a bit like a cross between an opera singer and a singer in the sense that you pour a lot of your body into it and emotion and your physicality and as well as this booming voice, which needs to be, you can't get away with anything less than perfection with your voice because people would notice that. Of
course. Yeah.
Whereas a rock star can go, man, it doesn't matter if I sound like that. They don't. In fact, the more they sound like that, probably the better it is. But you have to sound like.
I've never been a rock singer, but I do sing the blues and I do sing a lot of rock songs and stuff. But yeah, I was always a physical performer from the first time. It was just I always say it's like heavy weightlifting with your throat is what it's like, kind of doing those big kind of notes and all that kind of stuff. But I do rock and roll, like the 27 Club show I'm doing in the Olympia next March is all rock and roll songs. So I can do the blues, but I'm not a gravelly rock and roll singer. Although the night after a gig, when I get up in the morning and I talk, it's like Darth Vader sings the blues, or it's you can do all kind of growly stuff then. But yeah, I would be in that classical baritone tenor.
I was going to ask you, because I had Russell Watson on the show about 4 weeks ago, and I was talking to him about his voice. And so, where does your voice fit in? Is it baritone tenor?
It's baritone, it'd be a bit lower, yeah. But I've always been able to hold that high falsetto kind of thing. So I have 4-ish octaves or so I can go up, which was gas because when I was a kid and I had a boy soprano voice. I'd be singing in the choirs, and then when my voice broke immediately, when I was 12 or 13, I sounded like I was 40. So when I used to sing in class, the music class or that, everybody would laugh because you'd have this low voice singing underneath everything. So I thought I didn't have a voice, but as I went along and developed my voice, because I always loved singing. Singing is such a lovely thing to do. Just when you can do it, it's just really nice physically to do. Mentally, it's good for you, all the things that they talk about nowadays. So I always sang, and there was always music in the house and that. So I suppose I developed my voice in some ways, and I was always, because I had quite a range, I was always stretching it. And I suppose I've just maintained that. But you do, I suppose, abuse it, because you're not really supposed to do lots of nights in a row, because it's like an athlete, you're wearing it down. And if I was a soccer player, I'd be long retired, So, but it's the journey of doing that and learning about your voice and how to protect it and things not to do is fun in itself.
Your father was a singer, a good singer.
Great singer, yeah.
A good singer, and that's maybe where you picked it up from.
Most definitely, yeah. He had a great baritone voice too, so we grew up the sessions, he was the kind of guy you'd go to the pub and you could be sitting there for second pint in, off he'd go, kind of thing.
Would he?
No shame, but no shyness either,
And would that be after a pint or two, or?
Yeah, and he was he didn't do it professionally, but I come from several generations of mechanics going back to the plough and a horse, my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Onto steam engines, into trucks, which we were truck mechanics.
Yeah.
So it was all that. It was all hard work, but then we'd have, Christmas or anything at all, there'd be a session and everybody be singing, and you were made sing the old Irish tradition of making everybody do something. And that was kind of where I discovered when I'd sing, people would react and that I had a voice.
But when you said that your dad was a mechanic who sang, are you suggesting that his dad was a mechanic and he sang as well?
His father would sing a song, yeah, he would sing too, yeah, and yeah, it was just that old.
So in a sense then, when you came along and your voice dropped and everything, he went, yeah. Yeah.
No. People
like
always...
Roy Keane's dad at the bar, just off, the famous apocryphal story of Roy Keane. When Roy got signed for 3.75 million to United, there was this famous story of Mossy Keane pointing to his crotch and just going in the bar, 3.75 million, lads. Points, no. So it was that thing, it was like father, like son.
Yeah, no, but I still got anybody in old hometown, they always say he was a better singer than me, slagging me,
Yeah.
He was the better singer. And, in some respect he was.
And did he ever share with you, I don't know what your relationship is or was like with him, but did he ever share with you at any stage did he ever think of going into Dublin or whatever and thinking of going, I'd like to take it further?
No, he never really aspired to go beyond what he was kind of doing. He was, very happy in what he did, and he was a go-getter in respect of, he was the kind of guy who would arrive on the scene of a big accident or something and sort the whole thing out, just this kind of problem fixer,
So I thought
things broken.
I thought you were going to say he would arrive on the scene of a big accident and just start singing. That sounds like a sketch.
That was afterwards.
That sounds like a guy in a sketch show. No matter what happens, he arrives onto the scene and starts singing.
Singing things better.
Yeah.
So he was a problem solver, he would arrive... fixing breakdowns, all that kind of stuff. So he was very inspiring in that way. No problem couldn't be solved, kind of thing.
Now, you say you love singing and that it's cathartic and that it's good for your physical and mental health and it makes you feel good. Do you sing when you're alone?
Oh yes, all the time. Sure, that's how you become a singer. You're just love music.
Yeah.
there's guitars everywhere in my house. So I'm constantly, to me, that would be actually just sitting down, noodling away. Yeah, noodling away. Right.
Many chords or a few?
Well, I know most of them.
Do you? Like, who was it there? Yes, somebody was saying, some great artist was just... Christy was there. I was singing old Christy from Kildare.
All right.
And I was watching an old interview with Gay, and Gay was there. Christy, how do you come up with the songs?
Oh, geez, Gay, it's tough, you know. Sometimes morely the lyric mainly, Gay.
So not the music?
No, I look at the music later. It's mainly the old lyric, you know, that the spark off. I'll get the old spark. And do you I see you with the guitar there. Do you show me how it's done? I only have 9 chords, Gay. I only have 9 chords on.
He's more than 9.
I'm sure I've only on 9.
Well, this was 1986, so he may have...
There were only a few.
He was sweating, and he was telling Gay he only had 9 chords, and but he was singing. Then he sang the song about the Stardust.
Okay.
And they never came home.
Right.
And he said because he saw that a woman in the interview saying they never came home, and he said that was when I found the song.
Right. Yeah. It's like that. You just hear phrases. You know, you would know yourself from creating things. It's something you hear on the TV. Somebody says something.
That's right. So when you're sitting at home with your guitar, are you tinkering around with your guitar to sing, or are you tinkering around with your guitar to create a song?
I just love playing music and singing. I love if I hear a song on the radio I like, I'll try and I'll be playing along trying to figure out what the chords are.
Yeah, right.
And then from that, it's the whole play state thing where you're in that area of, I'm not creating anything, I'm just having fun with music. That's when things are made. So it's trying to stay in that kind of zone. That's if you're writing songs every day, I would have a little bit of a song I'd be working on. Last night I was working late at home, just working on some songs that I had. Because if you leave them too long, they disappear. You know, you always hear that about Prince, that what he did was he'd start something and he'd finish it, and then he'd start something else.
Yeah, I wrote down the word Prince here because he's a big influence on your...
I love Prince.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Just that thing of he was just the greatest ever. There's no two ways about it. Singing, dancing, playing, everything. Just his ability at that time in the 1980s where he was just rewriting the whole thing, like the Beatles almost, just creating new ways of releasing music, new ways of performing. When you see those shows that he used to do, the choreography.
And also he was a virtuoso at everything.
And his guitar, I remember seeing him in the Point once. I saw him play, and I wasn't prepared for his guitar playing because it was somewhere in the 90s. I always, dancer, singer. I knew he played guitar, but when I saw him playing guitar, oh my God! It's up there with Hendrix, no doubt.
There is. If for anybody who's listening, put into YouTube, Prince, "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." Do you know, Jack?
Yeah, I do, of course.
And it's a celebrity thing where they're playing "My Guitar Gently Weeps." I think Dylan is involved, Tom Petty,
Jeff Lynne, George Harrison. It's a tribute to George Harrison.
Yeah, and during it, in the guitar break, Prince comes on and plays the guitar break, and it basically is one of the most stunning virtuoso demonstrations of rock guitar you ever see.
Yes, and there's loads of that online now, because funny enough, when he was alive, he wouldn't let much stuff online, but since he died, so there's loads of stuff now, which is fantastic for fans. And he created so quickly as well, it was impossible for anybody to keep up. And but something like the Purple Rain album is amazing, because a lot of that stuff was recorded live and then they overdubbed on top of it, but you can now, so it was this kind, it always had that fluidity kind of live feel to it,
I'm writing something at the moment, and the thing I'm writing is yesterday I was talking a lot about the 90s, and I know the 90s mean a lot to you as well, right? So I was in my early 20s, my early 20s in the 90s, and
me too,
and all that, yeah. And the 90s in Ireland and in Dublin, looking back, was a very, very special place for, in certain ways, for music, for the beginning of our now very vibrant comedy scene, which we didn't have, but we were starting back then. And also for clubbing, dancing, and socialising, and pubs. I was thinking of all the clubs. You mentioned to me the River Club in Dublin.
Yeah.
The River Club. And there was another place in the Gaiety called Club Velour.
Velour went on We used to do the Da Club, which was where I kind of came to the fore in Dublin, playing at 12 o'clock.
Tell us about the
night.
Da Club. Tell our listeners about the Da Club. So I know the Da Club.
It's on Clarendon Road, Clarendon Market, just off Grafton Street, down from the Gaiety. But it was down a little laneway, and there was a cafe downstairs. But upstairs, they had a beautiful little theatre. And it had a late licence, served the wine. That was always the trick, I suppose. Once you could you serve food, you could serve wine and all that. So we would go on stage at 12 o'clock at night. It was a big kind of Pogue-esque kind of band with accordions and fiddles and double basses with the Black Romantics, and we would do the songs of Jacques Brel, and the place would be stuffed, and it would be beautiful, warm, summer nights, and there was something that Dublin was still quite bohemian. Temple Bar was all quite bohemian still at the time. And we would come out of the Da Club after doing the gig, and the Velour would be still going on in the Gaiety until like 4 or 5 in the morning. So we used to go into the Gaiety and dance the night away there. Yeah. But so many great clubs. But the Da Club, I saw all the comedians, like Tommy Tiernan, I supported me in there, and Jason Byrne and all the guys. And you would have seen all the greats like Damien Dempsey and Mundy and Paddy. Everybody came through there, So... outside of playing there myself, it was lovely.
Yeah, I saw you many times in there because...
Right.
I was going in there from Today FM as well, and before Today FM, just being in town. And I remember I used to watch Camille in there as well.
Yes, of course, yeah. They did the old Jacques Brel is alive and well and living in Paris in there. And there was
and Camille is still flying.
Still flying as well.
And you worked with her a good bit.
Absolutely, yeah. We've done lots of different stuff over the years together, sang different songs together, and... Agnes Burnell used to play in the...
Jeepers, yeah.
Who was kind of like the real deal as regards old, Berlin cabaret kind of. So we used to watch her perform and be amazed that her eyes alone could do the gig, It just hypnotised the whole audience.
And Camille is a fantastic performer.
Very good.
Mesmerising.
Amazing, and, has got better. Years have gone on, has become even better. So there's lots of great memories of everybody passing through there, and it's great to see people still going that were around at that time. But it was a very exciting place and a very exciting time.
Yeah, it was like all these clubs like Reynard's as well, and we used to go down to this place called George's Bistro just beside Reynard's, and it was like a speakeasy.
Right.
But like we'd be in there and it would like late night wine and white tables, white cloth on the tables, and George, the kind of a Greek guy, would be in there serving stuff, and then Dunphy would come in at about 1:30 in the morning and give me that fucking mic. And he'd get up there and he'd go, I did it my way, baby. Come on, John, Lane Brady, get up here. And because he'd be in from RTE or something, doing a late night thing.
He used to come to the shows in the River Club, the Liver Club down, just down at the Arch, going on to the Halfpenny Bridge that was. And we used to perform up there as well, and he would get well into it, He was mad into it.
He loved singing.
Yeah.
And he loved singing really cheesy stuff as well. He used to come. I remember he said, Mario, because when I was in Today FM, he got to know me, and he said, get up here. And he's like, I have a dream. And you go, this is Dunphy. This is like the rock and roll Dunphy. This is the bad boy of Irish journalism. And he said, a song to sing.
You can't go wrong with ABBA.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, you can't. I love ABBA.
I love ABBA too, yeah.
ABBA.
Brought up on ABBA, Summer holidays, listen to Eagle. Remember that one? And I dream I'm an eagle.
No.
It's a great song, yeah.
I love...
It's even a 12-inch version of it they did way back then.
I love... obviously there's 20 songs that ABBA, that everybody knows from ABBA. But then you go a little further than 20, and that would be further than 20. What is the song?
Eagle.
Yeah. Another one would be, I think it's a brilliant song, Slipping Through My Fingers.
I think you know that one, yeah.
Oh boy, it's typical Swedish melancholic thing, right?
Is that her last album? No?
Not sure. So it's like slipping through my fingers on and but it's mainly what it's about. It's about Agneta, who's had her child, and the child is now 5 or 6.
Yeah,
and she sees the child sitting opposite her at the breakfast table.
Right,
and she looks at her little girl. And she wonders what her little girl is thinking. She doesn't know what she's thinking. But as she's looking at her, she goes, this time that I'm having with her is quickly slipping through my fingers.
Yeah.
Soon she will be today out the door with her school bag, and I won't see her till tonight.
Yeah.
But very soon it'll be 3 years and she'll be 8.
Right.
And it's all slipping through my fingers, this magic moments when I spend time with this love of my life, who will soon disappear.
Yes, yeah, beautiful song.
Oh, slipping through my fingers.
So many great songs. I mean, Alvin, they really were phenomenal. I mean, they're up there with the Beatles as regards that golden circle of just being able to make this sound that relates.
Unbelievable, yeah. And ABBA had this incredible way of putting a jaunty tune with a very, very sad
the
thing.
juxtaposition of the two things, yeah.
So like Super Trooper. So like, it's like, here with 20,000 of my friends. She's doing a concert. How could anybody be so lonely? And you're going, you have everything. You're rich, you're famous, and everybody loves you. And she's going, I feel so lonely. All I want to do is go home.
Yes.
See my family.
Yeah.
And but tonight I'll stay here and I'll be a super trooper because that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
But it's so sad.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No, absolutely amazing. I mean, going back and listening, even sonically, I mean, I'd be a sonic nerd from making albums and producing albums. So just hearing the sounds they used to make in that orchestral and that thing you get with harmonies like
and Afraid and
Paul McCartney and John.
Yeah.
It's like their voices were made to go together, you know. It's
or the Everly Brothers. I know they were brothers.
Brothers or Oasis, you know, siblings especially.
Yeah, siblings. The Everly Brothers did have that special sound. Or the Beach Boys.
This harmony that just, it's perfect.
Yeah,
really. Just,
the Beach Boys as well.
Oh, stunning, yeah. And singing harmonies as a singer is a beautiful, fun thing to do as well, you know. It's so great.
I mean, have you done harmonic work with people? I mean, obviously your voice would lend itself to some form of
no, I mean
massive job.
The guys who play with me at the moment, Ger Eaton, Duncan Maitland, are both singer-songwriters themselves and are masters of that, you know, the Beatles kind of harmonies and the Beach Boys. So we have great fun singing harmonies, and I've done lots of stuff with choirs. But the harmony thing is great because that's always a learning curve, you know, trying to find different places you can put a.
Have you done studio bits where you've overlapped your own voice many times?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've done it all at this stage. You know, I've done albums where it's very simple. You go in and rehearse the songs and play them live. Yeah. I've done albums where you spent a year in the studio, just especially around in the noughties when digital came in and you were able to use samples and sit in a studio. And it wasn't, I kind of came from that thing from where it went from everybody you needing to rent a big studio to where you could home record, you know, that kind of... which was great, but it meant that and then with things like Pro Tools and that, you could go down a rabbit's hole, kind of like albums like the Universe album, which was a kind of a giant quantum leap from the one I'd done before with a band where it was all samples and using the modern tech. But that was always something I was mad into as well. And so you can really get lost in the studio, you know, playing with your voice and overdubbing it. And you know, it's funny nowadays, every song you hear on the radio has a pitch perfection on it, even Michael Bublé, everybody.
What do you mean pitch perfection?
Like, so it has that little bit of where you're pitching it perfectly, where every note is perfect, and it's a sound that you hear on every voice on the radio now because we're used to hearing it. You know that Britney Spears kind of.
Are you saying it's
an effect?
Oh, it's an effect.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you're saying in effect,
but it's been
even with good voices, they're auto-tuning themselves.
It's been normalised. Yeah, I think I saw where Michael Bublé said he did it because he wanted to play it on the radio. We're just used to hearing that kind of almost metallic, almost.
Oh God, yeah.
You know everybody.
I do, but I didn't know that though.
It is, yeah.
So even with people who have great voices,
pitch it just makes everything sound perfect, you know. But I think in the advent of AI and that, we're going to want more mistakes. We're going to want more. Just things not being perfect. I think our ears are getting bored. I mean, usually when you record something, the mistakey bits in it are the ones that are your favourite parts, you know. They become kind of, because it's real, I suppose, or something. I mean, there is a thing of all music trying to be perfect. So
I don't know. I completely see what you mean, because I grapple with the same point of in doing comedy sketches and thinking about comedy sketches. And that is that it's the one that's slightly imperfect that is the best one. And you go, well, why is that? Is it because it's more human, that it's not perfect, that it's more real? I would say it's not that it's more human, it's more you.
Yeah.
And art and expression is individual. So it's more my mistake. I did it, and so it's coming from me.
Yeah.
But also I think a mistake, if you like, put it in inverted commas, is not necessarily a mistake. It's like a slight pointer to another thing. I don't necessarily regard it as an error. even if it is you and human.
Yeah.
It can also be part of the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That it's part of the story.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's a freshness to things. I mean, you look at the Beatles, when they started, they would arrive into the studio, teach the song to George Harrison and Ringo if they had new songs. And they were doing albums in a day. And they would make up the part and do it there and then. And they're the recordings that have lasted to this day. And something you kind of discover then as a singer too, 'cause, you know, like I say, back in the day when you do 50 takes of a vocal, to go back to the first two and go, oh, they're probably... the first ones are usually... It's overthinking things. Once again,
correct.
That place state kind of is a better place.
Correct. Overthinking things. And sometimes when you do things at the beginning, there's a certain little bit of magic energy that you've brought to it at the beginning.
Rawness.
And it's hard to put a word on that.
Yes, yeah. But I definitely think in the age of perfection and AI that those little kind of...
yeah. I love what you're saying about PlayStation and all that. I've taught a lot about that in my life.
Yeah.
Monkeys and just playing and being children and getting into that state where people, where nobody can tell you that you're doing something wrong, that there are no mistakes.
No.
Just play and have fun.
I thought a great example of that was that Beatles documentary, the one, Get Back, where they showed, you know, the one that did like 20 episodes or something, but in the studio they were just messing around, we're playing old ragtime songs, and then suddenly they'd be into something else, you know. And it reminded me of every studio, which is when you're in a studio practicing stuff, there's a lot of fooling around and messing, and then you get into it kind of, but you're in that.
But it's the fooling around that's the reason.
Well, what did it say? You play music.
Yeah. So I say when we have this thing, and when we do gift grub meetings on a Monday, that we go in and we go, let's just spend the first 15 or 20 minutes gossiping and bitching. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's untold things happening in your subconscious. I know I have to come in and maybe pitch a few ideas to the guys. Let's spend the first 15 or 20 minutes gossiping. Yeah. And then the meetings are always much better. You know, because when creativity becomes work, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Creativity.
Yeah, well, I always say it's serious fun.
Serious fun, correct.
You do have to have an order. You do. The longer you do it, the more you learn how to structure it, I suppose. As you're playing, there's also the worker, and there is a time where you have to sit down and make the thing actually, you know, together. So I always say to people, it's serious fun.
I think serious fun is a good way of putting it. Yeah, serious fun is a good way of putting it. I saw in my notes there that your old man. I say your old man because of the song Old Man River. Yeah. He enjoyed singing Old Man River, and you enjoyed singing Old Man. You enjoy singing.
Well, it's one of those songs, I suppose, that it's originally from Showboat, although I think it predates that, Paul Robeson singing it, but he would have known the Sinatra probably version of it. So when I was a kid, I would hear him singing it at sessions, and there's that big low note you do in the big end, and it was the first time I kind of went, wow. It was my first live music kind of situation as a kid. So, you know, that made me fall in love with that song. And it was never one I thought would be in my repertoire, but I was playing in Whelan's one night, somewhere early on in my career, and whatever happened, the mic kept breaking or the PA kept breaking or something. I think it was a Paddy's night or something like that. But so I walked out onto the tables and sang it a cappella, and that's all anybody was talking about afterwards. You're after practicing and having all the fireworks to get it, you know, to try and amaze everybody with all the technical stuff. But it was just back to the basic singing and affecting people. So it kind of became, you know, to this day I'll sing it now and then at the end of a show or that, and that's where I got it from my dad. But I always say they were my first gigs, because I remember being a kid and being upstairs and hearing them all singing downstairs, you know, when you were, and it was a flip on the older generation. Never did that, you know, they were always out working and stuff, but suddenly there you could hear them in the distance having an old sing song. So I don't know, it kind of woke my mind up to I suppose wanting to do that. And I was always obsessed with music and always obsessed with pop culture, like I say, and watching Top of the Pops, and you know, you were just making up your own culture.
I got in 2015 my grandfather died. He was 94, I think, and I was very close with him, and I was very close to my grandmother. I kind of grew up with him a bit on a farm, and then he died in 2015, and he used to do Old Man River.
Did he? Yeah.
And I remember I held his hand maybe a few days before he died. He was up in the bed, and I held his hand, and he was weak, and then he kind of stole himself, and he started doing it.
Wow.
I don't know if it was for me or for himself. He used to bring me up to the farm, and he'd hold my hand and he'd sing "And I Love You So."
Okay.
The Perry Como class.
Yes, beautiful.
Beautiful. But anyway, he'd do this big. He was a large man, not tall, but just big, broad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to had this big voice in his chest, and he was able to bellow out the Old Man River. So he died, and then in Waterford, and then at the I got pissed at the reception, and then I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm not a professional singer, so I sing quite well when I'm in character, but when I'm Mario, it just kind of I haven't got a focus.
Right.
I don't know if you understand that concept.
Yeah.
So I can sing great as Roy Keane and Bertie Ahern and all this, and Jose Mourinho, and like the pitch, you'd be going, your pitch is very good, and then you do it as Mario, and it's like, you're a bit off. Anyway, I gave it everything, and so then whenever I see things and go down to water, they go, none of your fucking, don't give us any of your Old Man River. But anyway, Old Man River, if again, listeners, if you want to look at YouTube, there's an amazing version of Old Man River, which Jack just referred to there. There's a few versions by Sinatra, but there's one particular version by Sinatra. He's on a TV show, and he's very mature Sinatra at this stage. Not old, but just peak Sinatra. And he does this note, which Jack is referring to, and I'll just mess around with it. And it's something like, you get a little drunk and you lands in jail. That's approximately the note. But basically, when he gets down to the second last note, you go, that's the lowest note anybody can go. And Sinatra pulls it out of the bag, and he goes below.
Yeah.
And you're going, whoa. And when he goes and he does that deep note, you're going,
it affects you, yeah.
It goes into your body.
Yeah, well, that was the part kind of was talking about.
It was the part you were talking about, wasn't it?
It's such an amazing song, and it has that big ending too. But you reminded me of talking about your grandfather. When my grandfather was ill and in bed at home, I remember we had a sing song with him as well. He wasn't far from the end, and I remember he got me dad to sing the song that me dad sang on his communion when they brought him around to the houses. I don't know what the song was.
He got your dad to sing.
He got him to sing the song that he had sang when he was a boy as communion. Yeah. And they brought him around to the houses, singing songs. But just lovely memories. So music was always... And when my dad, he had a lot of ill health in the end, and he had a stroke and relearning to talk. But when he had the stroke, he could still sing. So he used to drive around in the car playing Sinatra and singing along to Sinatra, and it was a great way of building the muscles up again in his voice. So music was always whenever I was free, I'd be out with him driving around singing to build the old muscles up in the voice again, and he came back strong as well. Yeah.
And you do that, don't you? The Old Man River.
I do. I haven't done it in a couple of years, maybe now, but it always features. Even I'm doing the 2 nights in the Olympia. The first night is the 27 Club.
Good room, isn't it? The Olympia. Love
the Olympia, and the second night is greatest songs. So it will feature those songs, all songs that I've sang over the years.
Does it suit you, the Olympia?
Oh yeah, I started doing the Olympia when it was midnight at the Olympia. There you go again, back to the 90s. We would go on stage at 12. The place would be stuffed. I mean, who goes out at 12 o'clock now to a gig? It's
come full circle. I'm thinking of. I was talking to Ian. We're going to go on tour next year again, and
you're bringing back the midnight at the Olympia.
No, the other way.
Morning at the Olympia.
Afternoon.
Yeah, I
this
think
thing of comedy shows going on as a matinee.
Mm-hmm.
So some people are like Jimmy Carr's doing it. I know a few people are doing it. Joanne McNally's doing it.
Yeah,
they'll do a double show.
Yeah,
so they'll do a show at 3 or 4, and they should do a show at 8.
Yeah,
and this is for people who want to see a show,
yes,
but they want to go out at night.
Yeah,
as well.
Oh, yeah, but also, I mean, it's odd. We're the first generation that went to festivals in this country, anyway. And so you have an older generation that likes to go to festivals and stuff. So I do a great one called the Forest Fest, which is on in July.
Laois, yeah.
Yeah. And it's for just that. It's for everybody, but it's mostly for people. It's very user friendly for people who used to go to festivals, are a little bit older now. It's not like 2 miles wide and 4 miles long. So it's it kind of caters, but that's a new thing because we have a whole new generation of people who used to go to festivals that still want to go to festivals. So you kind of have to cater for that rather than the full-on rave festivals, I suppose, that go on elsewhere.
We were talking about harmonies there a minute ago. I wrote down a harmony I love. It's a self-harmony. It's Dolores O'Riordan singing Dreams, which I think is a really cool harmony.
The end section, huh?
No, the whole thing. So she sings it 2 times. So she sings it. All my life is changing every day, changing us the way. And then in the second, and all my dreams. There's another.
Yes.
There's all my dreams.
Yeah.
And it's a song about falling in love for the first time. And it's like as if she's 2 sides of herself, considering what it feels like to fall in love.
Yeah.
And maybe one side of herself is a little more, I'm completely lost in love.
Yeah.
And the other side of herself is a little more wise.
Yes,
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a genius.
Well, I mean, completely, because she was so young then too, and that was their first band, and they were her first songs. My God.
Well, often their first songs are the good, really good ones.
Yeah, well, she went on to write, other great.
Yeah,
ones
but
too,
often the first ones
But yeah, to have lasted so long, I mean, she definitely was, and to be we did a tribute to her last year
Did you?
at the
Yeah.
Forest Festival where we did a few of her songs. Like the chord sequences are quite straightforward, 3 chords and the truth kind of things. So to have that simplicity and then have that complexity put on top of it, that just is pure genius, just like have melodies melodies are like folk memories almost. You hear one and you go, oh my God, that's like it's always been, like the Beatles, it's like it's always been in my brain, that melody. I don't remember first hearing the Beatles. They were just always there, maybe because the radio was always on. It was just infiltrated folk memory. And something like that where she's able to write a song like Dreams, which just lasts, it's eternal really, because
I think the Beatles demonstrated what you were talking about there, the play state, when they were at their best, because they were able to do this, that and the other, and they were able to do When I'm 64, they were able to do silly things. They were able to do tributes to the 1920s and sing songs about the tax man and stuff like that, little semi-satirical things. And then they were able to do rock and psychedelic and this sort of stuff, so mad. You obviously you love them,
the Beatles, big time.
Did you ever read a book called Revolution in the Head?
I don't think I've read that one. I think the best one is Paul McCartney's Many Years From Now is a very good explanation of them and just how much they did in such a short space of time.
11 years.
And how everybody has just been trying to top that ever since.
It's amazing.
But because it was the first time, there's something about the first time. There's a Albert Camus quote that every man's life is a journey back to that first moment when his imagination was first open, which is like, I say I heard my father singing Old Man River and went boom, suddenly, my God, music can affect you like this, so in some respect everybody's just trying to recreate that moment maybe where they first were awoken to the magic of the world. Or the
well, if you're lucky that you're chasing that moment, Revolution in the Head is just a book which is a chronological book.
Right.
It's a chronological book which traces in chronological order every single song the Beatles recorded, who was in on the session, who wrote it, why it was written, what circumstances were it written in, how the band were getting on together, what was happening in the world at the time, and what was happening in the Beatles world at the time. So you can start on page 1 and go to this song, but you can also go to the very last page and go to the very last song they recorded, which probably only 2 of them would have been at, or 1 or 2 of them, 3 of them at any moment.
Together. Well, I mean, the drama of Let It Be album, like even where McCartney released Let It Be naked without all the overdubs they put on, without
Phil
asking
Spector
him. Phil Spector was brought in, and they kind of finished it without him, and there was, and he's been trying to rectify that. And thankfully you can see, the whole thing about McCartney being that he was the driving force in some respect behind them.
He was.
The guy who got them to the studio, and it's just lovely to see him.
He's the guy that kept the show on the road.
Yeah, it's nice to see him losing that thing that he broke up the Beatles and all that, because,
But it's funny.
So many factors.
People say, "Are you a Beatles?" People mess and they go, "Are you a McCartney man or a Lennon or a John Lennon man?" And so I went from being a McCartney man to being a McCartney and Lennon man, and now when I'm in my 50s, I find myself veering more to Lennon.
Yeah. Well, I was big into Lennon back in the day, but I've kind of thought, even with there's that new documentary Band on the Run, which I watched there, and I remember even Mull of Kintyre is a song from the 1980 when I was I wasn't even 10. So it's another one of those, like, where did that melody come from? It just sounds like something that's always, it's like,
it's timeless.
Will You Go, Lassie Go, or something.
It is.
It's of that ilk that it's just timeless, yeah. So his all this stuff, I mean, melodically, what's the other one? I can't wait another day.
Oh, yeah. Until I call you. No
More Lonely Nights.
Yeah, no
Pipes
more lonely nights.
So I grew up hearing all that Lennon.
Yeah, that was early 80s McCartney.
But I always knew melodically it was like, wow. Like, just melody is such a hard thing to structure. You can't even structure it. It's something that it's beyond words. It's melody. It's why music.
Oh, I love McCartney's thing. It's more. McCartney's melody is obviously he's Mozart.
Yeah,
but like Lennon is more Beethoven. Lennon is darker.
Yeah,
and Lennon is the like mother.
Yeah.
The fuck did you do to me? And so he's getting in on your solar plexus.
Yes,
and the soul and. He's basically all comes down to this thing of peace and love, the whole thing. Why can't we just fucking love each other?
Yeah.
And that love is the only way.
Yeah.
He keeps coming back to that.
Yeah.
That love is the only way. The rest is bullshit. Where's the wheel going around?
Yeah, no, John Lennon was well plugged in and, if you like, walk long before it was a thing, and maybe brought that whole thing to the fore,
Yeah.
With his Phil Spector recordings as a solo artist are just stunning in themselves,
During the 2000s, I was lucky enough to be able to release albums for the comedy. Gift Grub comedy albums, and I love comedy albums from when I was even a child. I used to listen to Pete and Dudley Moore and Peter Cook, and I used to hear Billy Connolly albums even, and Monty Python albums. In fact, when you were in the 70s and early and 80s, a lot of households had comedy albums, like the Bee Gees. Beside the Bee Gees or ABBA or your Bruce Springsteen or the Beatles, you'd have comedy albums.
Yeah,
and you'd put them on the turntable and you'd listen to live comedy. I mean, even Hal Roach from Ireland, I'd be listening to him. Flanagan and Murphy go into, and you'd hear them at the thing, the crowd laughing, and you'd go, I'm just listening to this, sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to release some comedy albums in the 2000s, 13 overall. Mm-hmm. And of course, just at that time, around up till 2009 at least, records were selling a lot of records, and then it stopped.
Yes.
My record sales looked like a bell curve. They started small,
DVDs
they
too.
Went up huge, and then they dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
And obviously this is your living. So at one stage you would have sold plenty of albums as well. Yeah. And that's good for the bank account.
Absolutely, yeah. Tapes even when I first started.
Were they?
Well, tapes and CDs, yeah.
And so now that's not really the case anymore.
No, I mean,
so your particularly your financial model has totally changed.
Yes, but I would do things like I kind of I've always been an independent artist who licenses albums out to different distributors and things. So I would.
Will you explain to me how that works?
Well, I would make the album myself.
Mm-hmm.
I might just release it I would do a big release, but only at gigs. So I'm selling physical copies. Okay. And
you can also sell them on your website.
Yeah, sell them on your website. You're selling them physically. They're not. I have albums, 2 albums on my website that are not available on Spotify and stuff. I did a lockdown album, and I did an album called Northern Lights, which is kind of a Christmas album, which I only sell at shows, and you can buy them off the website. Some of the stuff is on YouTube now, so it's still possible to physically. I'm lucky I have an audience.
Yeah.
That want the new albums, because once you put it out to digital world, it's everybody else's. Then I always say music. Today is a music lover's paradise, but a music maker's hell, because barista gets paid for making coffee, baker gets paid for making bread, but suddenly music which costs a lot of money to make. No matter what way you're doing it, whether you're doing it at home.
Do you think that model can be changed, or do you think it will be changed?
I think it's going to, the music industry is mad because it's always been driven by the technology. Edison with the phone, Graham thought it was going to be for sending audio letters. He never thought about music. but suddenly music became the thing.
He thought it was for voice notes.
Yeah, voice notes. Yeah, mad, isn't it? But I think, I mean, with VR glasses and stuff, the whole thing is going to change again. You're going to be able to go into a VR place and I'll be playing for you a gig. Maybe that's where you go, just like I go on Facebook and the whole thing during the lockdown where everybody would go to a gig there. So I think the idea of going to a show or the special kind of thing of being in the presence of somebody will probably change with. But then you have the strange thing that with AI, everybody's going to be an artist because everybody is going to be able to make a song. You know, people who can't sing will go to their AI.
By prompt.
Say it with, I want to write a song about my dog. Here's my voice, blah, 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 blah. It'll create the song. Or make it more about this or make it more happy, make it more sad.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. So everybody's going to have music now. And it's going to be AI music that's created from skimming the internet and recreating stuff.
And what do you think of that?
Well, I can't hold back the river. It's happening. And in many respects, this time is like in the 90s when the internet was coming and we were all kind of going, well, what's this? Or is this going to... But I do think it is literally like the horse and cart to the car. It's that big a leap where when they brought the horse and cart was there and they were trying to sell cars, they were going, no, we don't want these stupid cars. And then within a year or two, horse and carts were gone because cars were just so much better. And I think, you know, I don't know, we're going into, there's definitely, it's brave new world territory as regards.
It is. I've spoken to this about a few people. For example, let's say what you stand on stage and you sing your song. And I'm on stage in the Olympia or wherever and I'm doing my comedy. And I mean, AI is not going to replace that.
No, real things are going to become
flesh
more
and blood.
important. Yeah.
And that might be good for us.
Absolutely. I think people will crave real things. I mean, reality will become the new thing.
In other words, the idea of saying, well, did you see it live though?
Yeah.
Will become much more important.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, I was there. So then what's live? I was there. So the I was there might become really important.
Well, that's the thing now, isn't it? I mean, most people go to festivals so they can put their pictures on Instagram.
Right.
I mean, those big gigs, which frankly, you know, a lot of the big stadium and things, the sound is awful. It's not like being in a theatre.
You don't. It's not. No.
No, I mean, I love open air festivals.
Oh, do you?
I love that whole thing. Like, you're going back to the pagan want for a festival and go out, and in the middle of the summer we go out and we,
okay,
you know, and that's more and more important because everybody's so institutionalized now with their phones and everything is corporate, everything is marketing. It's crazy. I mean, we didn't grow up in that. We grew up, there was ads for toys on the TV at Christmas. Now it's just stations and kids being, you know, overwhelmed by marketing people. Battery hens, it's like,
we are.
It really is. So to have a festival where everybody goes and lets their hair down and they're outdoors is so important, even though, you know, there are a lot of them are corporate now too, but that's a really important thing I think that happens in the summer still. It's essential for kids to experience as well, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, how are you going to fight against the AI? I mean, you and I, anybody will be able to come home and go, okay, I want to watch a movie with me and Marilyn Monroe and James Dean in Star Wars and I'm the hero.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how do you compete with that?
No.
But yes, people of our age anyway will still want to go to a gig and know what that feels like and experience the thing.
Maybe it'll come to a thing there where you can kind of go like, I paid. That we will eventually have less and less fans, but they will pay more and more for their tickets. So it'll be like, I went to see Mario there the other day, right? I paid 7,000 quid. See it. How many people were in the room? There was 40 of us. I mean, we're heavy Mario fans, right?
Yeah.
And boy, did he deliver a show. He spilled his guts out there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He got off with us as well at the end. He gave us a massage. You know, well, we were paying $7,000 each. So we expected nothing less.
That could be it, yeah.
It could be like that. We just give a bespoke.
But here's I think people like. There's the terminology, the felt presence of immediate experience, that you're at something that's happening in real time and I'm here watching it.
Correct.
And it's like this, you know, that's what we're doing now. It's happening in this real time. And that's what I've discovered with doing the online gigs during COVID, was that people just wanted, so I used to do them live and people knew it was live and things can go wrong, and that's the live experience. I think there's something in us that craves that, you know. that we still like stuff live. Seeing stuff afterwards isn't as stimulating. But it's definitely wildly interesting, the whole AI thing.
Oh boy! Well, you've thought about it. You've thought about a lot of things, actually.
Well, like here's another good one. So you won't be able to believe anything on the internet now, the dead internet, basically, where it's like the National Enquirer. I mean, they released all that alien shots, and you're kind of going, is this one they released, or is this an AI thing?
Correct.
You don't know what's real. So local papers, local stuff, where you know the people, will become more and more important.
Very well pointed out.
Because you'll at least have some idea who that's your man's.
Literally come back to I trust your man.
Yeah,
and I know him.
I know him. Yeah, and so there's always these curveballs.
Isn't there? Yeah.
Come with
and things don't always go linear the way you think they'll go. Like I think that with the internet and everything, that they thought it would take away everybody's job, but then everybody learned how to do the internet, and there was jobs in the internet.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
so in other words, we all learned how to do internet jobs.
Yeah, and information exploded. Yeah. They say it was like in the Gutenberg press when they could suddenly print books and people could read. Suddenly, people could question the church or question what they had been told. I mean, when you think back to a time pre-written history, that people would just orally remember stuff. That's fascinating too. I think that's where our love from song comes from. That there's a thing where a lot of the old, if you had to memorize, say,
it could happen through song.
But they would have little hook lines, even in the Odyssey and everything, that would turn the page almost. And they're in a lot of the old pre-written word. Orators would do it. They'd have these little turns of phrases that would basically turn the page, so you would have a thing that would help you memorize it. I think that is why we love hooks from songs, little hooks that stick in your head, and like there's all this inbuilt kind of evolutionary.
Have you read *Sapiens*?
The audiobook I did.
Yeah. It's good. It deals a little bit of men and the cavemen singing and the oral tradition and singing.
Because that was going on long before this. I mean, we were on the precipice, on the edge of the most. It's like being in Star Wars almost. It's all this mad stuff coming at you, and it's a crazy time to be alive.
So do you cater for your existing audience, or do you seek to build a new audience?
Always building a new audience. I mean, every album you release, you kind of might lose people and you'll gain people. And I mean, at the moment, I'm doing some shows that I did. That people are always asking me to bring back shows like the 27 Club, which is all the artists who passed it. 27, which is
Joplin, Jim Morrison,
tragic, but it's the history of rock and roll, and that came from doing a podcast actually on Lyric FM about the history of recorded song from Edison to the iPod, which myself and Julie Feeney did. So, and as you were going through it from Edison, then you came to Robert Johnson in 1938, who's the guy who sold his soul at the Crossroads and all that mythology. He actually used to rehearse in the graveyard, which is why I think people thought, because he would get the solitude of. So I think that's maybe where that myth came from. But then you had to run in Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, as you said, Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. It's just tragic, the old 27. Maybe you're hitting some peak at 27 that you're pushing the envelope. But so I'm bringing that one back. So I just did a tour of the Jacques Brel songs, which I would have been doing back. So it's lovely to go back and do shows that you've done before after 10 or whatever years, because it kind of they're new to you again. It's interesting to.
Yeah, and also you've matured. So
well, many of the Brel songs I was singing as a young man, so I feel like I more so fit into them.
Has your voice changed when you get older? I mean, does for example, the cliche would be that your voice gets deeper.
Yeah, my voice probably has got a little deeper again, even as you get older.
Which your voice being incredibly deep anyway.
yeah. I mean, but you hear that with Sinatra too. You can hear all those earlier recordings.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Sinatra was the first. Teeny bopper came from Sinatra. They were the first. The first time pop culture had teeny boppers was with Sinatra, and you hear him at that stage, and his voice is still quite. It almost hasn't broken. Which when I listen back to Metropolis Blue or one of my early albums, it's sometimes early stuff. It still hadn't quite matured, but now, definitely more lower register, and I suppose you don't have to push so hard all the time. That there's a nice balance in between, which when you listen to Leonard Cohen or Finbar Fury or somebody like that, there's something that comes where there's and it's something Sinatra talked about too, where you sing like you're talking, basically. That's the trick, you know.
That's the trick, and he got very close to that.
Yeah, where you're communicating in that
phrasing.
way. Yeah, it's phrasing. People always say that, but as much tone, I always think Sinatra, it was like an oak tree or something like that. It just tonally, you knew there was wisdom in there. You knew there was a lived life, and
very good.
There's just there's something that connects with people.
I used to love the way Sinatra was able to say a phrase off the beat, not on the beat. That he'd wait, he'd surprise you. So you're constantly being challenged.
That's like the fresh thing we were talking about. Not mistakes, but just stuff that's off the beat is usually more interesting than stuff that's on the beat.
Yeah, he's not on it all the time. He's letting you wait, and he's then coming in early.
Or
he's putting things together.
Yeah,
and you go, what's he doing with this? But he knows what he's doing.
There's an edginess to it.
A little bit of an edginess to it, yeah. Finbar Fury you mentioned there. I love Finbar as well.
Well, I did it was the Fla in Liverpool. Oh God, 2018. Vince Power, God rest him. And I remember Finbar coming out and doing the Lone Boatman's Call and doing his set, and it was a big festival on the docks there in Liverpool, and it just the energy just calmed the whole place, but hypnotised them too, and it was just that kind of. But even his voice too just had that hypnotising thing.
Isn't that it?
It's like he's in the room.
How are you? When first I saw the love light in your eye.
He's great.
Yeah, no, it's so that kind of, I thought it was very like when I went to see Leonard Cohen, that kind of thing he had. Agnes Burnell, just that's something maybe that you gain as you get on.
How many gigs do you do a year, on a good year?
Well,
or on a big year?
I mean, way back when you saw that poster, I mean, I think there's over 100-something gigs that year. But now I would down half that maybe. It depends. If you have an album out, you're just going to gig it till it. I usually gig an album for a year and a half. So if that's happening, you're going to have.
And then you take a bit of a break?
Yeah, it's mainly at the weekends you're playing, so it's not as hectic. Years ago, you could play any night of the week, but that's kind of changed as well. But in between, the whole thing is like an athlete. It's about the rest time as much as anything else, because the body just has to recover, and the inflammation of, when you sing and do a couple of nights, your throat, your respiratory system's under pressure because it inflames. Like if you run a marathon, you're going to be sore. That's kind of what it's like when you're.
I used to get hammered after gigs and smoke my tube.
Oh, me too. And
I'm telling you, I regret. I stopped that because I regretted it, and I stopped it because. As well, because I felt I wasn't doing anybody a favour, including myself.
There's nothing as bad as being on stage and being hungover.
No, it's terrible.
Horrible.
Because you're just getting through.
And then you get into the thing of having a few drinks, so you're not hungover, and then you're into that rigmarole.
Oh, but then depression sets in. Then you've got the blues.
Yeah, but you're just kind of trying to outrun the hangover. But I remember I recorded a DVD back in the day called Memento on the Olympia, and we did 2 nights, and the first night was the run through, and of course we all went out on the Raz after the success the first night, and I woke up the next day with a throat infection. So you're getting anti-inflammatories and all that kind of stuff. Performing it is a privilege to do it, but it's also
that's why we bow. We bow at the end.
Yeah. It's the giving and receiving of energy from the audience. First of all, I try and do the gig. I suppose I try and get lost in it myself, and that usually translates to the audience coming with you.
Yeah.
But it's lovely. I love playing live. Is like they say, everything else is a pain, but the playing live you do for nothing. It's just such a nice thing to do yourself, and to feel an audience singing along with you, a song that you wrote alone in a room, and then suddenly you have 1,000 people singing it back at you. It's just such a thrill.
If I feel like Gay Byrne here now, if God is at the pearly gates and he comes out to you and he says, "How are you doing, Jack L? Well done, sonny. Good career. Now, before you come in through these gates, you have 2 songs to sing. Which songs are you singing, Jack?" So which songs would you have to sing? So these are the songs. I mean, it's an unfair question, but you have to answer it. Give me 2.
Today it could change daily. But for my own songs, I suppose Rooftop Lullaby is one I've always
Rooftop Lullaby,
really loved performing, and has always been evolving. And, of, I suppose, current stuff, I've got a song called Battle of the Hawthorn Trees, which I love singing.
So those are the two.
Yeah.
And which male voices do you love listening to yourself?
Me, myself, I love people like Paul Robeson because I just love that big, bellowing voice. I love Sinatra, we can start at the beginning and move along. I love people like Eddie Vedder, amazing singer. Yeah. I love Morton Harkett. I've always thought he's an amazing singer.
Sorry again for the YouTube. You'll probably know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say? Morton Harkett.
I don't know.
Can you imagine what I'm going to say? No. The unplugged version of Take On.
Yeah, stunning.
If listeners, if you watch that, watch him doing the unplugged version of Take On Me. It's stunning, isn't it?
To take a song that's so well known for its big note and to make it that intimate and small and just still have more emotion. I mean, that's the fascinating thing about music.
What's funniest about that song is the video of the song, because they're in there, they were doing the unplugged, and he's there doing Take On Me, and it's real slow. And but the camera will go into the audience, and it's all women of 48 years of age dying, just looking at him, going, "I love you."
But he had a very odd, range where he could hit these high notes and emote. And I remember hearing people when you were young that could sing like that, because I could sing. Was like, wow, okay, this guy can sing.
You can sing that, couldn't you?
I'd have a lower register. But I can.
Can you do? Do you do falsetto?
Yeah, I can still do falsetto. Yeah, and a good.
He's doing a kind of a falsetto there as well.
Yeah. It's like balancing a butterfly on your finger, trying to hold those little notes. Yeah. It's a very delicate thing. John McCormack. There's not much between Morton Harkett's voice and John McCormack's. When you hear that thing he had where it was gentle but it was strong, it's a beautiful thing. But singers, I always loved him singing. And I love Amy Winehouse singing. I love rock singers. I've always been just obsessed with all music. I would still listen to the latest stuff and try and get a handle on that or what's happening.
I love Ella's voice.
I'm not too familiar with her now.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, Ella Fitzgerald. Sorry, I thought it was something new.
No, Ella Fitzgerald. Like when she sings.
Well, here's the thing. Sinatra took his phrasing. And if you listen to Ella Fitzgerald, it's like Sinatra singing. He is like her singing. He took so much from Ella Fitzgerald.
Her phrasing is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Listening to her singing Bewitched, Bothered and Bewildered. Oof. Astonishing.
Yeah, and even the scat stuff, which, people would be quite old-fashioned at this stage. But when you hear her doing that stuff, it's very hard to do all that stuff. But yeah, I read that somewhere or something, and then I listened to it and I went, wow, Sinatra really did just took Ella and gave it a male kind of spin.
Yeah.
Really did.
Something else.
Yeah.
Jack, so it's great to talk to you.
You too,
and I didn't realise, that sounds patronising me to say, because I was obviously you're a singer, you're a performer, an artist and songwriter. But I didn't realise you thought so much about the outside areas and the AI and also the history as well. You're big into the history.
Oh, big time, yeah. But it's fascinating. Like I said, it's because having come from an age where it was tapes and stuff, and then you're going to the CDs and then digital, and now you have AI coming. So it's a fascinating journey, just trying to not only keep up with it, but just seeing it all happen.
You're in the Olympia next March, is it?
Next March, the 19th and 20th, 2 nights, 2 different shows. The first night is the 19th is the 20 songs of the immortal songs of the 27 Club, and then the second night is greatest songs, all the songs from my various albums, all the best picks.
Okay, so it's a bit of a greatest hits night.
Yeah.
March 19th and 20th. 19th in the great Olympia Theatre.
Beautiful place.
Oh boy. Okay, well, go see him, folks. He's great. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Loved that, Jack. Thank you.
And my thanks to Jack L for coming in and spending a very entertaining hour-long plus conversation with me. He really is a lovely guy, and I encourage you to go and see him and listen to that fantastic voice wherever you can find him. He's at Forest Fest in Laois coming up in July. My thanks, of course, also to Hum, our great sponsor and partner on the Mario Rosenstock podcast. Hum Finance, they've been around in Ireland for 30 years. They let you get your hands on anything you want, easy to pay back payments, bite-sized payments, and get out in the garden and start thinking about barbecuing and sheds and all that sort of stuff, and let Hum get involved with you. Okay, my thanks to you, of course, and I'll see you same time, same place next week.
The Mario Rosenstock podcast. Thanks to Hum. Finance made easy when you shop tech, electrical, appliances, kitchens, and much more. Flexify Europe Limited, trading as Hum, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.